Kiwi beef farmers will soon be able to breed cattle that are better suited to our farming conditions and environment thanks to a genetics program now underway called Informing New Zealand Beef. It's a partnership investment of $16.7 million between Beef and Lamb New Zealand and MPI's Sustainable Food and Fibre Futures Fund.
The Informing New Zealand Beef program is a 7-year program that we've just started with funding with Beef and Lamb New Zealand and the Ministry for Primary Industries. It's a program to enhance the genetic gain of our national beef herd, which has been tracking along okay, but we want to supercharge it and give farmers more tools and options to improve the genetic merit of their herds. What we've been missing in our beef genetics in particular is a really New Zealand-centric way of measuring how our animals are going and giving farmers the opportunity to focus on problems and opportunities that are really specific to New Zealand. So the idea of the program is that we can build some tools and some infrastructure here in New Zealand which will help farmers make those decisions and target what they need for their customers. The qualities that we'll be looking at are things that are focused to our grass-based production system, like the environmental impact of our beef systems is a part of that. So methane is very topical and something that we'll be interested in figuring out how we can help farmers reduce their herd methane, but also potentially anything, right? We've got a bit of an open book. Nitrogen production, and also the much more simple farm production system like growth and maternal cow traits, whether they're getting in calf, all of those things which all add up to a farmer's profitability, but also to their efficiency, and efficiency drives greenhouse gas production as well. The idea is that with this program we can look at what's happened in the sheep industry and all of the hard work that the PGGRC and all of these other organisations, AgResearch, have done, and see what we can use to translate across to beef. It's not going to be easy. Genetics is a slow game, and the genetic interval's longer in beef. So we will, but we'll be trying to figure out how we can do that. If there's ways, at the moment we measure the sheep, as you might be aware, in a gas chamber, but for cattle those are really big and expensive and hard to do. So we'll be trying to figure out if we can do that other ways, how else we can measure methane from cattle. We've started collecting some information now on a key progeny test herd, and over the next couple of years we'll bring more and more animals into that program, both stud farms and commercial farmers as well, to try and build the amount of data that we're collecting. Farmers will see some information start coming out over the next 2 or 3 years, and the goal of the program is that over 10 or 15 or 20 years we'll have that genetic gain just quietly working away in the background like interest, and then one day we'll say, oh, look at all of the gains we've made as an industry, and really help catch our beef herds up with the great gains that our sheep and dairy herds are making already. In terms of the breeds, we're going to start with Angus and Hereford. They make up something like 90% of the national breeding herd, so that's where the big gain is for us. So we're going to build these tools which allow farmers to look at animals. We're also going to start assessing across breeds. So in sheep at the moment, and in our dairy industry, we can look across the breeds to see, compare animals against each other. We can't actually do that in the beef industry at the moment. So one of the goals of the progeny test and this program is to help us compare across those breeds. How are they looking, George?
Yeah, they're looking good. Yep, we got these from Wairawiri Station up the back of Alfredton. I am a 5th generation farmer, and genetics is a massive part of farming. It's probably the closest thing to a free lunch that farmers can get, improving their genetics. So I'm just really keen to see this beef program succeed. It's really exciting to see the investment through Beef and Lamb and the New Zealand government into this program. Matariki farmers, 1,500 effective hectares and around 500 pine forest and regenerating native bush. And on those effective hectares we run around 1,000 cattle, made up of around 200 beef cows and replacements, around 300 Frisian bulls for bull beef, and the balance is made up of Frisian calves and yearling steers, which are from our own cows, and we also purchase some off other beef breeders in the Wairarapa. And in the sheep front we have 6,500 composite ewes, and we're breeding 6,500 and 2,500 in-lamb ewe hoggers.
Yeah, get in line.
The most exciting thing for me with this new beef program is the chance to evaluate different beef breeds against each other. And a real focus for me, for our beef, is efficiency of the cow. You know, we've been focused on growth a lot within our beef industry over the last 25 years, and which has meant we've got very big animals, but out on the hills, actually a smaller, more efficient cow. So that's probably one of the ones. And another thing that is, you know, creating a lot of excitement in the beef industry is meat quality, the marbling of beef, and it's something that, you know, a lot of the beef breeders are really chasing now. And I think it's very important because the consumer's telling us they want good quality beef, so it's really important that we do focus on that. In time, you know, hopefully we'll be able to use the new Improve tool developed through the sheep genetics program. So really that'll be at my fingertips on my telephone. I can just look it up and find where the best genetics are. But you know, genetics is about relationships, so most people have a relationship with their breeders. So you know, it'll be good to be able to feed the data back to my breeder so that he can make better decisions as well. Beef farmers are excited about this new program. It's new investment into beef genetics, and in the past most of the investment has been from the farmers themselves, so they're excited about the investment basically in technology to see the, you know, genetics in the beef industry supercharged in New Zealand. So you know, it's an exciting time for beef farmers, and you know, the progeny test that's been happening through Beef and Lamb New Zealand has kind of got us up on the front foot. And this program is really going to be able to push that along.